What's up guys, welcome back to the next video in learning Kotlin. My name is QD Yazdani and you guys are watching my channel Kroywood. Alright, so we've done our while loop and we've done our for loop. So it's time for me to show you guys the break and continue. So what is a break and continue? There is a time comes in your programming which you guys needs to break away from your loop. So if you guys observe here, we've got a variable which is 20. We want to do and while is going to continue at once, and it's going to be while it stops there. And there is a times here when you guys want to break away from your loops, you don't want to continue for some reason. This is similar to the exception handling, which I'm going to show you guys in the future video. What is exception handling? Alright, so this is for loop, and if you guys look at here, you guys sometimes want to go say from 1 to 50 and you guys don't want to go continue from say 50, more than 50. So if you come here, if we say break and we say break from loop, and just here, and we can say continue the loop. So it's a break and continue. You guys needs to know this break and continue. For example, if you have variable here var and we name it some sort of say xyz our Corayo, it's a lot easier for me. So Corayo is 2, and I'm gonna run here my for loop for I, and here you guys can put it for x. You don't need to put a y. You guys can put anything from 0 say till 100. Okay, so now I have I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna say I'm going to multiply this number by itself. So I'm going to put a Corayo plus equals to Corayo because I want to call. So 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, then 8, 8, 16 is 16, 16, 32, then 32, 32, 64. So I'm going to put a Corayo plus equal, not Corayo. Why we're going to put this is because this Corayo holds the number 2, the value 2, and when we say Corayo, this gonna go increment by itself. So if it's 2, 2, 2, 4, then when it's 4, then 4, 4 is 8. When it's 8, 8, 8 is 16, 16, 16 is 32. And when the number reaches near 100, so for example, we want to break it. So we don't want to continue this number past 100, because if it goes 100, it's gonna might break down our machine or something. So we're gonna put a if. Say if Corayo, if its Corayo is greater than 100, then what happened? Then we say break, because we don't want to go ahead for some reason, because if it goes ahead, then it breaks our machine. So for some reason, if it's Corayo say around 64, then break. So we're gonna try this now, and here you guys needs to print to the screen, and you guys come here and it says Corayo is say then we put a Corayo. Okay, so we have a variable here Corayo which is 2, and we're gonna run a for loop from x. This is index, and you guys can put I, a, x, whatever you guys want to put. Yes, Danny, whatever you guys you can put your name here. You don't need to put x or I. In 0 to 100, and here this guy say this guy got a, you guys just imagine it's a 2 here, then 2 plus equals 2, well, it becomes a 4. Then the next loop is gonna come in, because there's a for loop. Then it's gonna be say for example, it's a 2 plus 2 becomes a 4, and then 4 plus 4 becomes 8, and then 8 plus 8 becomes 16, and then 16 plus 16 becomes 32, and 32 till it reaches 100. So because we have put a if statement here, then it won't go ahead and pass say this one. So if it reaches to say 32 is 64, when it reaches to that, then it stops, because we put a if break here, break statement, because we don't want our loop to continue. So if you guys know this one, because the reason I put this, because it's a loop, it goes round and round and round. the first iteration, it comes in and becomes 4. The second one, because now it's 4, the second one becomes, put another 4, it becomes 8. The third loop, it comes in and becomes 16. The fourth loop is coming 16. We're going to put increment to 16 to 32, and then the fifth one is comes and put another 32, which becomes 64. So that's what it is here in computer science. Alright, so we're going to run here, and we're going to see if there's a typo here, if our break statement breaks the loop. So we're going to go and see, and if you guys see here, the first iteration 4, the second one, this Corayo adds up another 4, which becomes 8. The third one, it becomes 16. Then the Corayo adds up another 16, it becomes 32. Then on the, then it puts 32, it becomes 64. So 64, as I say, it becomes 128. And that's what, because 128 is greater than 100, that's what it breaks the loop. Because, and this is for safety purposes. You guys don't want to your loop to go ahead more than 100, because the limit is 100 here. Even if you guys put any number, say you guys can put a 10, you guys can put a 5, you guys can put anything, but you guys use this is very useful if you guys gonna break your loop. So you guys don't want your loop to go ahead. Say if you guys want to say if your loop is equal to say 5 or 10, whatever you guys want to break. Say for example, if you guys gotta say we put another example here. I'm gonna comment this and comment. For example, you guys got a Corayo, and on top, and say we put a, for example, Corayo is say 20, for example. Alright, so now our Corayo is 20. We're gonna come, we're gonna use our while loop. We're gonna say while Corayo is say greater than 0, continue. Because we want Corayo to be greater than 0, then we're going to continue. That's a condition, and because the condition is true, then that's what the while loop is going to go ahead. Alright, so if, for example, Corayo is equal to say for example 10, then what happens after that? Then will be break. So if our Corayo is becomes a 10, then we want to break, and because we want to count backwards now. This one was counting forward, so I'm going to show you guys how we're going to count backwards. So what happens? You guys can put a print ln and Corayo. We say countdown of Corayo launch, for example, is, so we want to put a Corayo launch, and here we want to put a Corayo, our variable. Okay, so now here how we gonna put a Corayo, and if you guys put a 2 minus here, then it's gonna go backwards, so it's not going to go forward as in this case here. So in those cases, in both cases, if you look, we use the break statement here. So because here when it reaches to say if it's equal to say 10, it's going to break the loop. And here, well, actually our Corayo is 20, because it's going to count down from 20, and when it hits 10, it's going to break. It's going to break away from the loop. So we're going to run to see if we have any error in our program. Okay, so our error is here, because we need to wrap this in between this. So I'm going to put it like that and say like that. If you guys want, you guys can do this and do this, so to make it two separate. So now this guys here is separate from each other, but there is one dangling here. I want to remove that. So you guys can do like this too, but you guys need to put this in separate, but looks like we are getting an error. We're gonna run and it looks like it's not accepting. I'm gonna put in 1. Okay, so the error has gone away. Okay, I'm gonna continue to see if I have more error. Alright, so looks like our countdown is started. So if you guys look at here is 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 11, and when it gets to 10 it breaks away. So our loop has finished to 11, which we already instructed our computer to, if Corayo gets to 10 you break, you finish my loop. So that's what the break is. I hope you guys got the idea of the break. Say if you guys put a 5, for example, 5 here, our loop's gonna break at 5. So it's gonna go all the way from 20 all the way to 6 and it stops here. So if you guys look at here, it comes from the 20 all the way to 6, and because it hits the 5 it breaks. Alright, so how about if you guys come here and I'm gonna copy this, so and I'm gonna put it here, and now we're gonna come here, so I'm gonna put that one there and this one here to see if they get okay, the error gone away because that's to loop. Alright, so now we're gonna put this one in comment. So we're gonna come here and copy this one here, this guy here, because we want to put our continue. So this one's gonna stay like that, and this guy here we're gonna put Corayo to 0 because we want to count upward, because continue works opposite than break, because the break, it breaks from the loop, and continue is breaks out of the loop. So we're gonna remove this guys here and this guy here as well. Okay, so if Corayo is greater than 0, say you guys can put it is less than, say for example 10 or 13, whatever, and because our Corayo holds the value of 0, and now we're gonna come here, Corayo is less than 10. So if Corayo is equal to, say if Corayo is greater than, for example 5, then we continue. If it's greater than 5, continue. Alright, so we put our condition, which is Corayo is greater than 5, we continue, and then we continue. Corayo is Corayo, so there is we didn't put a Corayo, we have to increment it because we put a condition. If Corayo is less than 15, then we increment. So our condition is that Corayo has to be 15, and if Corayo is greater than 5, we continue. So it's going to count till 5 because we have 0 there. The Corayo is on top is 0. It is going to count till 5, and when it's after the 5, it continues. Say for example we put an 8 here. You don't need to put a 15, you need to just put an 8 to see if the Corayo is going to continue after this 8. So we need one more line Corayo, because this loop's gonna continue Corayo till 5, and this the guy's outer one counting of outside Corayo, outside of Corayo is, so this guy is gonna count the Corayo from 0, which is this guy here, 0, from this guy 0 all the way to 5, and when it's good to 5, it needs to continue. So we're gonna see our okay, so we put a Corayo is 1 all the way to 5, which is here. It's if Corayo is greater than 8, is less than 8, because we want our while loop to be till 8. Then we're gonna go continue. Corayo is we're gonna put a counting upwards, and if Corayo is greater than 5, then if we're gonna, then instead of break, because if you guys put a break, then it's gonna break. But because we didn't put a break, we put a continue, and this loop's done. And this guy come here, and counting of choreo is 8, because the choreo, we want this to continue. We don't want this to, we want this while loop to go all the way till 8. We didn't want to finish it at 5. So that's why this counted till 5. And then because there was a continue, and the continue, it's continued till 8, and finished its mission, because the mission was to count till 8.